Hi guys, Eggy Fits here. I just wanted to do a little video about how I cut Amtico round a curved bullnose. Alright, so this is the actual curved bullnose we're talking about. So as you can see, we've got herringbone Amtico. It could be Cardine, it could be any other LVT, luxury vinyl tile. And what we've done is we've got a border going around the edge. It's one strip border. And I've ran it so it goes around, follows that nice curve, look, around this bullnose. Bullnose is like slang for the bottom step with this curve. That's what we call it. So let's see how we get there, shall we? All right, let's go. So here is how we started. So we've fully prepped the floor, so we've plied it, and the joints of the ply have all been micro coated or feather finished, basically filler for the joints. Okay, this is a straight edge. It's obviously not the cleanest straight edge because it's been used quite a bit, and I'm marking out, as you can see with this pencil mark, where the border is going to be. And it's only one strip border. You can have two, but because it was quite a thin hallway, me and the customer both had the decision of a one strip border going around. Okay. So as you can see, there's a pencil mark running around this curve. All right, now I'm going to show you how I made that pencil mark, and bear in mind that distance between there is still only the thickness of the tile wide. Okay, so I'll drop the camera. It's always a bit of a pain when you're on the job trying to record it as well as do your day's job as well. So as you can see, I'm pulling it around that curve with the pencil right on the edge, and the other side of the tile is touching that curve. So it makes a nice little curve. I'll show you that again in a second. So in this video, we see where I've glued. So I've glued using pressure sensitive up to this line here. So that line, obviously the piece that I drew on is the glue line. So I'm going to put all these pieces in on top of this. This is pressure sensitive adhesive, so I can actually pull it back up once I've cut this on top of the tile. Let's have a look. So there we go, we're just putting those pieces in, rubbing it on so it's stable enough for when I remark it. So here is where I'm going to remark on top of these tiles that curve. So same as before, we're going to put a pencil mark right on the edge. So what I mean is right there. Yeah, like I showed before, we're going to put a pencil mark right along there. So here we go. So we're directly opposite that. And we've got to basically take our time, make sure we get this pencil line a smooth curve, symmetrical to that one, you know, so it follows the same sort of curve as the step as well. So we're going to start from this opposite end here. I'm going to go back the other way. So keeping that on all the way, and we're starting that, there's the return for the post. And we get a nice line. Now here, as you can see, we have an overlap. So that one coming this way, ended there. This one coming from this way, went that way. So when we're cutting it with our knife, we have to sort of go in the middle of this and just make sure that it all flows through nice. So that's what she looks like, all joined back up. And as you can see here, this is the return for this mill post. So we're going to go around this curve, up here and straight up, and as you can see there, it's going to be the way that the tiles are going to be. So the tiles here are going to be facing that way, so that's the way up. That way is where the sort of like the grain of the wood's going to be here, and the rest of that curve is going to be facing that way, you know, so in towards the step. Okay, so now it's time to get our knife in. So I'm just going to clean my arm off because I've got glue all over it. And here we are. So we've got to make sure that this blade is super sharp. So we've got to make sure that it's new. You know, what you don't want is a dull knife. So if you have a dull knife, you're going to slip. You're going to slip, you cut yourself, going to cut into the tiles, you're going to cut over here. If you have a brand new blade, super sharp, you're not going to slip. You're going to slip more when you don't have a sharp blade. So make sure you put your sharp blade in, and damn the expense, get on it. So we're going to start. And as you can see this here, this is my thumb. This is this bad boy here, okay? So this thumb is going to go against the floor. And what it does, it acts as an anchor point. So as you can imagine on this phone, my thumb is here and it's holding a blade. And I can use my thumb to push my hand back at a controlled rate, you see? So I've got my knife, say pretend this is a knife, and I can use this to wiggle my way back at a controlled rate, and my hand's not going to be all over the place, because if it was floating in the air, it could be anything. I could sneeze and slice and dice myself, but that's not going to happen when you've got your thumb, this thumb here, on the floor. Okay, so as you can see, I'm drawing it back. See this thumb moving back, and it's controlling the end of that blade, so I can cut a nice curve to it. And there, as you can see, I've gone in the middle of those two pencil lines that overlapped. Lovely. So because that one was in this pressure sensitive, you can pull it back up because it's still active. The glue underneath here is still active, and what happens is it sort of dries and it becomes really sticky, you know, and because it's still sort of virgin, it's still going off, it's still drying, you can pull it up and have a little play with it. And what we're doing is we're pulling it up. I'm going to cut the backing off, which protrudes slightly further. And if, say, for instance, I wasn't happy with the sort of curve that I got out of it, I would make sure I'd just play with it and just get that curve back in it. Say there was a straight bit, a really straighty bit in the middle, I could put that curve into it when I've pulled the tile back up. So now I'm just sort of shearing off the little burr on the cut edge, because obviously, as you can see, when you got the cut edge here, there is a bit of burr, so it burrs up, so the tile sort of like comes up a little bit, and it creates sort of like a sharp bit in the lacquer. So if you can run your blade across it and just take that off, it'll be so much better, and the customers won't be able to feel the difference. Plus, like, dirt won't get trapped in it. Okay, so let's put it back in. Beautiful. Lovely job. Right, so here what I've done is underneath they're all cut. So I finished off camera and cut all those. Now I'm starting to cut the sort of perimeter, the outfill, the border. And these are all going to go the same way until that mill post, which will be going the opposite way. So I've cut all this around this lovely curved step, the bullnose. Now, as you can see here, there's a little extra bit. Now that little extra bit could have gone here, but I didn't want a little baby bit before it turns and goes that way. So what I did is I sandwiched it between these two pieces, and that's probably about 3/4 of an inch, I'd say. But what I made sure was that this sort of blended pretty well with the ones around it. It's not a really dark one, it's not a really light one, it sort of blends in. So I think I did a pretty good job with that. So now, for the third time, I will have to mark a pencil line on top of these tiles now, and hopefully that will marry up with what's underneath. So let's do that. So there you go. So for the, like I said, the third time, that pencil mark has been put over the top of these cuts. So as you can see, when I flip that up and down, it's pretty good. It marries up. So let's cut them. Now I did a big boo-boo with this tile. And what I mean by that is I cut the pencil mark off. And with doing that, it's short. See? Short there. What I should have done is left the pencil mark on, but I didn't. But what we're going to do is we're going to use that one as a template for the next one, the one what's going to fit. So if we started from the very beginning and we cut it back in, we just got this time, we chucked it out of the way and we just redid it, the chances are I could do that same thing again. But what I'm going to do with this tile now is I'm going to finish it off and I'm going to cut the rest of this in. Perfect. And then I'm going to use a pencil and I'm going to mark where I've done it wrong. And then I'm going to put it over the top of another tile and cut round it, add the little bit that I cut wrong on, and use that as a template basically. If you start from afresh, you could be going around in circles. But if you use it as a template, you haven't actually cut it wrong because you just cut yourself a new template, haven't you? So yeah. The guy who's doing the camera work is pain in the butt, isn't he? It's wobbling it all over the place. So we're just gonna cut the backing off of this one. slightly too big, so it just needs a little bit of fettling. Just a little baby bit. We're going to obviously take that burr off. And there you go. No, not there you go. Take a little bit more off. See, it's always better to have it slightly bigger. And you can just take a little bit off here or there. Then cutting it, thinking it's bang on, and it being slightly short. All right, so now I'm going to just cut this bit to fit. And I told him to turn off, but he likes to film me. He's a cheese. So here we are. As you can see, I've cut the rest of this in, so he's perfect. Obviously, he's perfect round the bull nose, but there's the difference of where it's short. So never let that deter you from, you know, finishing up the rest of that. Basically, use this piece now as a template for the piece that's going to fit. That nice curve's done as well. Has he got one? And here we are with the piece that I've replaced it with. As you can see, you haven't got that pencil mark, you haven't got the big gap in it. So there we go. And here we are gluing it. So if you can see these little scratches, they look like scratches obviously, but what they are is I got a tile and I cut little triangles out of it to make it into a tile. Now that's what I used to do. Now what I do is I use an A2 trowel, you know, those triangle trowels, and I use tin snips and I cut them in half, directly in half, and I use a hacksaw to cut the handle off, right? So it's cut into two. So you've got the little handle and you've got the tin snips that cut the blade. So you have two small little triangles. So much easier. So there's missing bits of glue here. So I'm going to just tap it, dip it into a bit of glue here, so I got that underneath covered in glue. There we go. Pop that piece in. Lovely jubbly. Already forgot that it has a small piece in there. And the glue likes to blob up the side, so we'll have to give this a good clean when we're done. Don't wipe it on your trousers. Lovely, looking good. The last piece around this curve and more glue. Lovely. Beautiful. Glue everywhere. As you can see, this little piece here with the backing is where I've been wiping the glue. I try not to wipe it on my trousers, but after a while when your trousers get mucky, you end up wiping it on them because you know you're going to replace them anyway. And there we go. So there's the finale. Look at that. And doesn't that look good? So you've got this proper nice curve, which is that curve in the floor. So some people will run a piece down, square, and go that way. Now I give the customers the option. Obviously, if your boss says you have to do it this way, then fair enough, you have to do it square or whatever he says. But if a boss tells me I want you to do it the easiest way possible, square, I kind of go against them and say to the customer, how would you like it? And 9 times out of 10 they want a nice curve. So I think sometimes it's just best to spend a little bit more time and put a nice curve in it. And the thing is, I really enjoy my job. That's why I do this YouTube channel. And I want to make a job the best I can for the customer. You know, I've got pride in what I do, and I try and do it the best of my abilities. And I think a curved bottom step, bullnose, it just looks so much better. So that's why I do it. Okay. And there you go. So that's it. That's the way I do curved bottom steps or bullnoses. This is the rest of the hallway, and I think you find that wallpaper is fantastic. Look at the monkeys on it. That there's a metal nosing where I inserted the floor into it. Normally you get these rubber strips like yellow or black inserts, but I wanted to put the flooring in because I think it looked better. This is obviously the dining room, which we did in the same day as well, and that looks pretty good. The thresholds sort of match as well, don't they? Those big oak thresholds. But yeah, I think it looked pretty good. And I just want to say thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you got something from this, and if you did, give us a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, obviously subscribe. If you are subscribed, give us double thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.